Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting me into your ears today. I don't know what to say because it's been a while. But the elephant in the room is that I am now a graduate. That was important to say. Thank you. Thank you. I finally did it. It's been real. It's been like what? A week and 2 days. Wow. Okay. So I'm fresh out and everything. And I wanted to do an episode before that talks about like all the realizations and all that. But to be fair, I am not ready to reflect on that. I have not been thinking about that too much. So I decided to have people on the podcast. Some of my really cool, good friends who are much more adult than I am. They're like practically ancient. Okay, they're not ancient. They're pretty young. They're just a little bit older than me. But these people are really cool. It's always a fun time talking with them. We have Renan and Elvy. Cue the applause. Thank you guys.
What's good, y'all? What's good? How we living? What's popping?
Period. Elvy, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Elvy, but you can call me V.
Why would you shorten that already? Yo, we're not calling him that. His name is LV. We're just gonna call him LV.
You can call me V.
Nobody calls you V.
E or L. Go on.
Your name is so straightforward. It does not need to be shortened.
That was crazy. It was not crazy enough.
Man just wants to be cool for real. Anyways, like I said, we have guests on the podcast today. It's pretty special because you guys are the first guests of the season.
Okay.
And you're also the first ever male guest I've ever had on the show. Ever.
Shout out men, man. Big shout out.
I support women's rights and women's wrongs. Let's just put that out there.
And the wrongs?
Yeah, and the wrongs.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
They need to be supported.
They do. Thank you. Okay, but for real though, usually what I do on the podcast is we reflect a little bit on our past week and what we've been up to. So I want to know what you've been up to. I'll start with Renan because I have no idea what you've been up to. So how's your week been so far? Weekend, all that.
Nah, word. So my week has been a vibe starting from the weekend. Saturday, I had a grad party to go to because one of my mans, he just graduated, got his master's also at Hofstra University. So he had a little celebratory
Keep going.
function.
Oh, yeah, we're real popular today.
Which was cool because, I went to middle school and high school with him in addition to college.
Oh, wow.
And so it was kind of like a blast from both worlds. I got to see, some college people, hang out with faces that maybe I've seen in the hallways but didn't really talk to. But also got to see some people that I haven't seen since literally graduation from high school. So that was a vibe. Then the next day, my brother got married, my big brother. OG. That was cool. That was a good time. Got to see almost a good chunk of my family there. You know what I mean? Cats on the dance floor, everybody having a good time. My family's from Haiti, for those of you that don't know. So a lot of compa music was being played.
Shout out.
Which was really cool. So yeah, it was a vibe. My youngest niece asked me when I'm getting married, to which I have no answer for. But shout out Abigail, my youngest niece, and the tough questions. Yeah, besides that, I've been chilling for real.
That's cool. Thank you for sharing. I mean, you can also tell us what you've been up to, but I specifically want to know what's been like a peak and a pit for you this past week.
Okay. I guess a peak this past week. I've been doing really well. Been consistent, been working out. Yeah, I started doing track workouts, which
Humbling.
yeah, super humbling. I've just been grinding, being consistent, and I guess that's the peak for it.
That's great. My peak is that I finally kind of got a handle on my calendar. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but after graduation, I actually do not know what I was doing in my life. Like it was the calendar was too open. And I'm the type of person, I love me a good little schedule. I love me a good routine. Obviously, you're transitioning from one phase of your life to another, or whatever you want to call it. And so I had no routine and I kind of had to start from scratch, and that was kind of bothering me a little bit. But now I feel like we're starting to get somewhere, which is really good. My pet is just the fact that my sleep schedule is way out of whack. And I just want to say, these are like first world problems. I'm very grateful to be where I'm at right now. I feel like I don't have real problems at the moment, which I love. These are the type of problems I love to have, if I'm being real. For anyone who's wondering, topic in quote is just like life after a big shift, like college, or at least in my experience, it's college. Renner's experience, college. Elvy's a little different. So there's a lot of different perspectives here, but I am new. And even though I've been taking care of myself for a little bit, it's not been that long. I still feel like I could always claim like I'm a kid and have people do stuff for me. But now it's giving very much like, you're in charge. And I don't know why they put me in charge. So we're just going to be talking about things like that. The first question I have for you, Renan, is just based on what you were talking about this week. Like, oh, you went to a graduation party and you're seeing people you haven't seen in a minute. How does that feel? Like, is that something that's really common post grad, like where you just end up going to things and then you end up seeing a lot of people you haven't seen in a while or talked to? Is that weird?
No, that's a good question. I think when you graduate, it's like a weird kind of thing because, obviously you have going to, college, a lot of times you get people who live in state, people who are out of state. And so some people you don't know when you're going to see again, all that stuff, as well as, you never know when you're going to run into them again, everything like that. But I think it's cool. I was talking to my friend literally as we're coming back from the grad party, where I was like, I think nowadays, even though we have more access to each other, we make reaching out feel weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like one of the people that I saw at the grad party. I'm not gonna say like we were best friends in high school or anything like that, or we were really, really cool like that. But it was great to see him. And it had me thinking, like, I feel like back in the day, and if you wanted to just reach out to someone like, yo, I haven't seen you in a minute, all that stuff, it was cool. And this was like when cats had to like they didn't even know your number. They looked up your name in the phone book and just gave your house a call just to see what's up. Or if they saw you on the street, yo, you want to get coffee next Thursday? And it's like, that's normal. But it feels like today, if I seen, somebody who I haven't seen in a while at the grocery store or something, I'm like, hey, we should connect.
It literally sounds like that too.
You know actually, has to be like, word. And then,
you don't hear from
you
them
never
ever.
hear from them. You text them, they don't respond. It's like, why do we make this joint like a weird thing? I like to live by the philosophy. It's only weird if you make it weird. And so I feel like if you're showing, genuine love, you know what I mean? Like, we don't all gotta be best friends, but if you just out here like, yo, it's been a minute, let's chill. You know what I mean? Just catch up. I think it would be a good time. I think sometimes people make things awkward that don't need to be awkward.
That was a really good answer. Hey, you're cooking. Elvie, I'm wondering, when was the moment where you really did feel like grown in the sense of like, I'm in charge of my life? Oh, for some context, me and Renan have been friends for like ever. I don't even know. I just got here. They've been friends forever. But I do know that they went to high school together. When you guys, I guess you can both answer this, like when did it shift where you guys felt like, oh, we're actually adults now, we're not kids trying to figure it out and da da da. Like we all got stuff we're doing now. 'Cause for me, with the conversations I've been having with some of my friends, it's really hit now that we've all graduated and everyone's like, oh, we're really doing this and that and this. Other than like, the outliers of people who just be doing like stuff even before they finish, like they're very entrepreneurial, they have their own businesses, da da da. They've moved out since way, way back when. This is the time where we're all starting to feel that like, oh, we're grown. But for you, when did you have that moment, or if you've had that moment, and then when did you have that moment with Renan?
I feel like it was like a gradual thing. It wasn't necessarily like one day to the next. I just feel like slowly I had to start taking responsibilities onto myself, whether that be like certain bills or just like being able to like just provide for myself in terms of like food, like what I'm eating the next day or what I'm doing or how I'm getting to certain places or just like how I'm paying for certain things. It was just like a slow burn, I guess, to like just things just started getting piled on top of me until I just felt like I can do. And I feel like that moment where I felt like I could do everything on my own now was about when I was 18. Instead of a birthday present, my dad just said, here's like 7 bills and just gave it to me. But like when I was 19, that's when I moved out of my house temporarily. That's when I was like just doing things on my own and really figuring out just life in general, and nobody really provided for me other than myself. And yeah, and I just like I was the one that had to figure everything out, and I had nobody to like fall back on.
Did you have that moment with Renan at any point where you're just like, dang?
I ain't gonna hold you when I felt like we were both adults was like really recent. Like I don't even know exactly what it was, but it was just like being able to just like take trips together.
Yeah.
And just like be outside. That was pretty much the moment where I was like, oh, me and Renan are both adults now.
Yeah, that's valid. Guys, I'm actually starting to speak like them. You know, I've never said that's valid ever in my life till I met you two. It's crazy. See, I'm about to start saying that too. Somebody save me. But what's a bill that you've gotten that like shocked you? That you're just kind of like, what I gotta do with me?
That's
Okay.
a real one. But I don't even want to get into that.
Okay.
I think the two ones where I was like, the first one is like the first time I like really went grocery shopping, where like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of siblings in my house. I said, oh, okay, yeah, it's like 5 of us.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. But then time skip to now and all the inflation that has happened. Grocery shop, and I looked at the bill and I said, it's just me. I was like, trust, I'm not crazy out here. I didn't buy 2 million ingredients. You know what I'm saying?
Fair
I was
enough.
like, damn, this is how we do it. And I think the other one was when I hit my neighbor's car.
Oh.
Backing out the driveway because it's like a foam ball at my friend's crib, and I was tired, so I was like, tired, bro, I'm gonna go get it, right? So I sped out the driveway because I was tired, and then I hit the car, and then I drove off to get the ball.
Yeah, don't do that.
And then I came back, and I was like, you know, the kid in me wanted to be like,
Yeah, I was about to say, y'all don't got cameras?
oh, I double checked the cameras. I said, oh, valid. They won't know. But then I was like, that's not what I'm supposed to do. But it was 3 a.m. So I left a note for them to hit me back and then, you know, tell me how much it was to get fixed. And it wasn't like, yo, mom, it's this much. She's looking at me like, all right, pay the people.
Dang.
That's when I was like, damn.
No, that's so real.
Like, that was like consequences. I won't say the amount, but it hurt my bank account for all that to leave at once, just like that.
And it's so unexpected. Like, that's not something you were planning towards, you're saving towards. Like, it's giving very much like, have an emergency fund.
Exactly. Because, you know, we make mistakes in life. That's going to happen. But for you to like make a mistake and then the total cost of it falls on you, like, it gives a new understanding for why sometimes my parents would be so mad, you know, when I break something that's expensive or something like that. Because, like, on top of already the bills you gotta pay and all that stuff, to then, like, add $1,000 expense, you know, or a couple $100, like, yo.
I don't need this.
Exactly.
And it's also why I'm just like, people that just be having kids willy-nilly, I need to have some parents up in here, to be honest, because I'm like, I'm stressed taking care of me, and I'm one person, and I know myself. You telling me that all of a sudden you're responsible for keeping people alive and fed and clothed and all these other things, and you want to have more, and they're like, kids are a gift from God. They are, guys, before anyone comes from me, they are a gift, but like, that's some serious stuff. We didn't get to hear from Elvy that much because man is busy. He's an adult and he's gonna go do adult things, but we still have Renan here, which is great. So we're gonna do some rapid fire stuff because this podcast is not supposed to be that serious, but for some reason it gets really serious for some reason.
Okay. I like not serious.
Yeah. And again, this is rapid fire, so don't think about it too much, right? This is actually a question I stole from Renan, so credit to Renan for this, but I'm gonna use it as mine. What's something mundane that you do in your adult life that you actually enjoy? Like it's like, or like a chore.
Off the top of my head, cleaning, washing dishes. You just throw some music on and it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that. I like that. I do that too. I don't like cooking, but I like cleaning, to be honest. Especially when I'm alone and there's nobody else there to bother me.
Yeah. Cooking feels like, I don't know. It's too mindful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I wish Elvy was here. This man, I came in, he's talking about, oh, I'm cooking because I'm bored. See, that's something I wish I had. Because when I tell you guys, I starve myself because I don't want to cook. Like, it's really bad.
I get it, yo. It's a lot, bro. Washing dishes, cleaning, you can kind of disassociate them.
And it's a one and done. But speaking of cooking, hot take, is meal prepping a scam or a lifesaver?
A scam? It depends on your lifestyle, I think.
Okay.
I feel like I don't know that it's all the way necessary because I think there's a lot of dishes that can be prepared quick. Like pasta's not doesn't take long, rice doesn't take long.
Yeah, a little salad.
You know, salad doesn't take long. Dishes that don't really require too much heat. There's a lot of things that you kind of just boop, boop, season a little bit, throw in the air fryer, and when the time takes, it's done. You don't got to think about it too much. So I feel like it's not necessary. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a scam. I think it can be very useful for people. But I always like to leave room for ebbs and flows. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen people meal prep and then come home and are like, no, I want pizza. So.
Oh my God. Why does that mean? No, you don't understand. I don't do well with leftovers, and I don't do well with like pre-made food. Like I grew up with like there's stew in the fridge, and then you take it out and then you make the other things, and then you make the rice, you make the plantain, whatever it is you're making, and then you put the stew on it, and that's meal prep. Like the stew is what's meal prepped. But like I feel like in America you see a lot of people meal prepping like their entire meal, like the chicken and then they portion it out or whatever it is they're doing. I would literally look at it and not eat it. I would be like, that's not what I feel like eating right now. I want to eat something else. Or I want to eat something that's fresh off the whatever it's called. It's either that or I meal prep something and I eat it all in like 2 days. And then I feel fat. Like I eat it all, I make chicken, and I keep eating the chicken, and I'm like, oh, it's good. Another one. Next thing you know, what's supposed to last you a week, 3 days is gone. And I'm like, oh, that was supposed to be for a week. Versus when you actually cook it day by day, or you force yourself to take like, I'm gonna make this meal right now. So I don't know, like you said, I think you're right. It really just depends on yourself, your lifestyle, all that. But this is something I've been thinking about. What's something that you do right now that show your parents? Yeah, like you only do it because your parents used to do it, or like you catch yourself doing it and you're like, wait, I'm turning into my parents for.
Well, that's a good question. There's a couple things that come to mind. I think I back him to parking spots. That's something that he did so that if he ever needed to leave, he could leave quickly. On my mom's side, I'll put on TV shows and then fall asleep 5 minutes into the show.
Wow. Woe to us if we ever want to watch a show or do a movie marathon. You're not.
Yeah, no, like,
dang.
Depending on the day, I'll be all excited. I'll sit down and have to watch the same episode 3 times in one night.
Are you serious?
Yes, because I'll miss details. I'll wake up. I don't know what's going on.
That's so funny.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something I do. And, oh, my mom, I don't know. She always be cold. So like whenever she would like get under like the covers in bed, she would always kind of like do a little shimmy all the time and be like, ooh.
Oh my God. That's cute.
And to this day, I do that every time. Every time. I'm like, ooh. Yeah,
even if you're not cold, you just like, it's just the motion.
Yeah, just get all giddy.
Oh my God.
Feeling that warmth. So
okay, this we're almost done, but second to last question. Actually, this is a lie. I have so many questions. But if you could outsource one adulting task for the rest of your life, what would it be? You don't have to deal with it. You don't have to think about it. It's none of your business, but it gets done right.
Low-key laundry and dry cleaning. Laundry and dry
Okay, so hey, that's actually very fixable. That's not outlandish. I know people who they don't know how their shirts get pressed or they don't know how it happens. They just know that it's in the closet and they have something to wear.
It was like, yeah, he takes his clothes to the laundromat and he doesn't do it. He just pays for
someone else to do it
for him. I was like, why would you do that? That's a waste of money. And he was like, no, like, yeah. When you get to a certain age, you're gonna realize that there are certain things, certain luxuries that you can afford, and it's better to just pay that little extra for the peace of mind. And I was like, "You're bugging." Yeah,
I'm getting to that point where I'm really like, I think the more money I make, I will do everything in my power to just make my life easy, like not have to think about certain things. Yeah. The thing that's causing me anxiety right now is like everything that has to do with the car. Bro, buying a car, maintenance, everything like that. Like I don't have to think about the gas. Yeah. Somebody else do the gas. Nah, somebody else somebody just don't. I just want to be able to hop in my car and go choo-choo. And then and you know what I realized? And so Elvy had a flat a couple days ago. And the fact, like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Obviously, like, he just went to a pump, paid for it, and whatever. But I was just like, this is just one of those inconveniencing, irritating things that you just have to deal with. And it was just like, life just happens and you figure it out. And in my head, I was like, well, I don't drive, by the way. I want to. I think that's a life skill. I feel like everybody should know how to drive. I'm not fiending to get a car for real, but like, it's For me, it's a life skill.
Actually, to that, I want to change my answer.
Okay.
A driver. What the heck?
Yeah.
A driver. I don't even want to drive the car because traffic like irks me like nothing else on this earth. I want to learn to do the basics just in case, but like oil change,
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you want to know how to do it so you're empowered, and God forbid you're stranded, you're not like completely useless, but it's not like on a day-to-day, like you don't want to actually have to do any of those.
Oh, are you crazy?
So all I'm hearing is that we just got to get rich for real.
And then a driver, shoot. Yo, you know how many times I don't go places just
because you don't want to drive?
Yo, my day would look so different if I had a driver.
Just be like, okay, we out. Let's go.
I'm telling you. Yo, you know what? I want to stack. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You drive. Wait out here. You know what I'm saying? And you don't got to worry about parking.
I'm telling you.
Because he's in the car the whole time.
Matter of fact, you could get out and they'll go find parking. And you can just do whatever. You call them and be like, I need you to come get me right now. And you're not thinking about, oh, what's the commute? What's the which route do I need to take? No.
If I could just never
hop in the car.
Google Maps again for my lifestyle, all the sleep you would catch up on.
No, okay, now I'm just we need that.
The only thing I gotta worry about is the aux.
No, for real.
Yeah, the music, right? The vibes.
Oh my gosh.
So, shoot. If we had a driver, Elvy wouldn't have to leave.
He wouldn't have had to leave.
He'd be here right now.
He'd be here right now. Okay, so yeah, we all just need to get a driver.
That's what it is. Yo.
Also, shout out to the people who do those jobs, because we have people that don't want to do that. So if y'all have a driver, or if you grew up with a driver, I have a couple friends who they grew up as kids like with drivers. So please shout out to the drivers. If you have a driver, show them some extra love today. I don't know, give them a really good tip, buy them food, do something, because they're doing things that a lot of us don't like to do.
I seen a person with money on a podcast the other day complaining because his driver went on vacation.
You're an essential worker. You can't leave.
Bro drove to Manhattan. He said, yo, this is stupid. I don't see why anybody drives ever. I was dying, yo. I was like, I wish I could say that.
No, quite literally.
My gosh.
Okay, this is something I really want to talk about when Elvy was here, but I guess I'll still talk about it with you because you guys do this together. The road trips. Since I've known you guys, I can't even count how many trips I feel like you guys have gone on. It's not that many, but it just feels like a lot because it just seems so impromptu. Obviously, you plan it out, but it's just giving, we want to go to Boston today. We're going to go to Boston and you guys just go. Or like, we're going to Pennsylvania. It's right there. Let's go. I guess my question is, what's like a road trip essential or like a tip that you feel like everybody should know?
Road trip, everything. I won't say everything. No matter where you live, there's other places that are accessible. You know what I mean? And like just going one state over can like mean like whole different experiences, whole different landscape and things to do. So it's like, it's definitely worth it. And usually, like, depending on your tolerance, the drives don't be crazy. But I would say road trip essentials, a comfortable car, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you want to be conscious about the space. I feel like in my younger years, you know, because I drive a Corolla. Not the most spacious.
Yeah.
But we're all going. It's all five of us. Well, typically I would drive, so I'd be chilling, but everybody else would be in the backseat.
Squished.
Or there's not enough room because there's 5 people who brought luggage and there's one trunk.
Yeah. Plus, you're mostly like guys and you're bigger.
Take up extra room.
Oh, you're just gonna be like, I'm tall, my leg can't move, like my leg's going numb.
Yo, we took a van to go to Oklahoma. It was like 15 of us in like a 12-seater.
Ooh.
We had like the little people sit in between the seat and the door.
Oh my god.
And then we just cycle them out. One friend, bro, was hogging the passenger side.
No.
Because, passenger, rule of thumb, if you sit passenger side, you are a bad friend if you fall asleep. If you fall asleep, your one rule is to stay awake. If you can't do that, don't sit in the passenger side.
Real.
You know what I'm saying? Because I will crash the car on purpose, on your side too. Let's see who sleeps longer.
Please.
Let me stop. But bro was hogging the passenger side the whole time. We had to gaslight him.
Oh my gosh.
Into giving the seat up.
Giving the seat up, yeah.
Like, we literally had to trick bro.
All the tall people, they use any excuse talking about, my legs are extra long, so I can't do this and I can't do that. I'm like, little, but like, hello.
It's like, yo, come on, something's gotta
Literally, something's gotta give.
So comfortability
For
is
sure.
essential
For
for
sure.
how fun the road trip is. The right group of people is also essential.
Oh,
Because if you have the wrong group of people,
you will hate yourself.
it'll be a very boring trip, you know what I'm saying? Or an annoying trip. You don't want those. But if you have the right group of people, usually they'll keep it fun. At least on the way there. On the way back from a road trip, everybody's exhausted. Not really as fun. But usually on the way there, people got a lot of energy, if you're with the right people. And so it's fun. Make sure to have your people. Do the shared playlist.
The way music can make or break a road trip for me is insane. You see that road trip we took with Sonia? When I tell you, that's the only thing that kept us up, music. And mind you, the person who was driving us, shout out Sonia, I love you. She's one of the most patient people in the world, because when I tell you, imagine that you are, you're doing the Lord's work and you're driving hours. Nobody's swapping out with you.
Yeah.
And you have like they're teenagers, but we're all acting like preteens, just singing Disney songs the entire time.
I can picture her.
First of all, our playlist was fire, I'm not gonna lie. And then you have like 4 people who just love to sing for no reason. We're not terrible, but like we could have given her a break. And we just kept on going forever. I fell asleep at some point. I woke up to people still singing. So I know she didn't get a break. But it was so fun. And I feel like even though it was a little annoying, I also feel like it kind of kept her energy up in a really weird way, because she also liked the music. Yeah. So we all could just kind of groove at some point. But I also feel like it's really hard to communicate about stuff on the trip, depending on how long you've known the person versus beforehand. If you agree on stuff beforehand, during the trip, it's very easy to be like, okay, but we agreed to do this and we want to do that. We could pivot and obviously and all that, but like, it's nothing crazy than when it's like you're already there and then you have to have these long conversations about what's fair and what's not fair and who's splitting what. Like, I think about that. We're on a trip. You know what I mean?
Okay, can I ask you a question then?
Yeah, please.
Where do you stand when it comes to taking trips? Where do you stand on the planning spectrum?
Okay.
Are you on the super, this is the itinerary? We have activities from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. We got to go to bed because in the morning we got to wake up at 9 a.m. to have breakfast, because if we don't have breakfast, then blah, 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 I miss the bus to go to, you know what I mean? Or are you the person who's like, I'll figure it out when I get there? Okay. Where do you stand between those two?
I am on the side of planning everything to the last detail, but I like to plan in such a way that there's wiggle room. So for example, I'm going to say we should eat breakfast, but I'm just going to plan out breakfast to like basically 12, like brunch. Because you're on a trip. Everybody figures out when we're going to wake up. Like, especially, it also depends on where you're going. If you're going to a place where it's very calm, you're at a resort, you want to sleep in, I'm not going to put a bunch of activity or whatever. Like, I'm not even going to be like, oh, we have to do this activity this day and this day and this day, unless we booked it, beforehand. But I'm just going to say, I think throughout the day, we should try to hit this, try to hit that, try to do this, Have a little bit of, I can't just be like, oh, we're going somewhere. What are we going to do there? We'll figure it. No, I won't get in the car.
Really?
I literally won't get in the car. Unless you can give me a concrete, like, semblance of an idea of, like, what are we going to do when we get there? I'm not. Because the thing about me is, as much as I like to go places, I don't really like traveling, like the activity itself. Honestly, if I could teleport, that would be the best thing ever, because you don't have to go through all the stress of like being on a plane, being in a car. I'm like, if I had to leave my house, my comfy bed, to travel somewhere, I gotta go with the purpose. That's another reason why I don't go a lot of places, because I'm like, what am I gonna do when I get there? Nothing. I don't know yet, so I can't go. So it's kind of like that. I feel like I'm in the middle, but like definitely leaning towards we gotta have an itinerary. We have to have something on the agenda to make me feel comfortable.
Good time on some of the road trips.
Yeah, see, y'all just decide, you know what, it sounds good, let's just go. What are you gonna do there? We'll figure it out. And the thing is, you will figure it out. But that's also because you're all on the same page. If you're going with someone who, like me, who doesn't have that understanding, or at least, like, if you ask me to go on a trip, right, and you're like, Mom, we just really want to go here. We don't know what we're going to do there, but we're going to do something. In my head, I'm like, okay, it's Renan. I know you'll figure it out when you get there. In my head, I can work around that, or I can just look up stuff that I want to do. And I wouldn't involve anyone else. I would just be like, well, if all else fails, I then can suggest we do this and we do that. Right? But if you're just like, let's just go and there's nothing, I'm gonna think you're trying to kill me. I'm gonna think I'm getting kidnapped. Because what do you mean there's no agenda? Absolutely not. I don't like pushing my agenda on people. I'll ask. I'll be like, look, I got a little mini itinerary if you want to see it. That's what I'm thinking. You want my vibe? Da-da-da. But if you say I'm not trying to do that, that's all you. But then when I go do my own thing, don't get mad because you know what I mean? Like, you didn't want to join me. You didn't want to contribute. You didn't want to be like, let's not do this. Let's do that. If you're not on it, but I'm on it, mind your business, right? So that's kind of where I stand. I can't do the no planning things. It gives me anxiety. It makes me feel like something's going to go wrong, like horribly wrong.
But that's the fun.
That's not fun, Renan.
The fun is the anxiety.
No.
That's the whole. That's the idea behind spontaneity. It's the adventure, figuring stuff out.
No.
Going somewhere.
I like organized chaos. It's like you go with like 15 people, 7 people, big personalities, but we have a plan. Sure. You go with 3 calm people and we still got nothing. No. I'm not going. I don't care how chill you are. No, we're not going. Because we're going to get there and then we're going to start looking at each other like ducks. And it's back to my initial point. It's like when I'm on vacation or a trip or anything else that's supposed to be fun, I don't want to think about the fun there. Traveling is something that you're moving from place to place. It's not like a group hangout that you call people like, come over right now and then we'll figure it out there. This is something that you packed your luggage. You put your travel size products together and you still don't know what you're doing when you get there. No, it's a lot of effort. So we gotta have, a middle ground. But I really do admire people who can just like think on their feet, are super flexible, super adaptable. I think it's a strength. It's just not one of my strengths, but I respect it.
I respect it too.
And because I know myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna put myself in that situation for real.
I think spontaneity, I will preface it for like long form trips or like long distance travel.
Yeah.
Like if I'm leaving the country, we need some type of plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if I'm just going to Jersey for the sake of going to Jersey.
See, that's different.
Or PA, like that's not crazy. You know what I mean? We'll figure something out. And with the right people, like I said, the travel will be vibes. It's part of the experience. Sometimes it's the journey, not the destination. For example, I went to San Antonio.
Where is that?
Texas.
Okay.
And I was there for like 5 days for a wedding. So the wedding was like Friday. Wedding prep and stuff like that was like Thursday. Monday through Wednesday, we kind of had open. So the way we kind of did it, and I don't know if this, just gives the vibes of a dude trip. Because I feel like when my sister goes on trips, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
But he literally picked like 5 activities maybe.
Okay.
And we would literally wake up in the morning in the hotel and be like, all right.
We're going to do this.
Which one do you want to do today? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's some kind of, at least you had a list of things you wanted to do.
But the thing might be at 7 and it's 10 in the morning. We'll just kill time. We'll just vibe for real. Yeah,
are you kidding me?
So we might hang out in the telly for a little bit.
Men are so interesting.
Might just go for a drive.
Men are so interesting.
Find some food nearby. You know what I'm saying?
I can't.
Walk around. I'm telling you, yo, like, we really be just vibing for real.
Yeah.
I've had trips where I went to Vermont and they did stuff like they went, I think they went skiing.
Oh, that's fun.
And some other things. I stayed the whole time in the telly.
Oh, wow.
But I had a blast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got my people around me. I was cracking jokes. We got food.
The vibes were up.
And just played games, board games, video games, all that type of stuff. And it was just cool to just like be in a different environment with people. I come from, growing up, a lot of my hangouts was just like being bored at someone else's house. Like, we didn't have a plan. It wasn't until I got older when people would be like, what's the plan? I didn't know I needed a plan to hang out with people until I was like 18.
Renan, please.
I'd hit people up and be like, yo, let's hang. And he'd be like,
what do you mean? What are we doing?
how is that a question? We'll figure something out. Slide. And it'd be like, no, I'm not going if I don't know a plan. And I'm like, why do you need a plan to hang out?
You do.
I didn't understand that.
I also think homebodies especially, because it's like, I'm leaving my house. I gotta leave I'm comfortable. I like it here. What do you mean you're pulling me out for no reason? Oh, you gotta give me a good reason. If not, I'm not going.
I get that. But then let me pull up.
You know what? That's another perspective. I didn't think of that.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a whole body cool, I'll slide. I'll bring
true.
some controllers. We'll play a game.
That's
I'll bring
so.
a board game.
Oh my god, this has been so fun. I'm gonna cut it short here because I've held this man hostage for like an hour. But this is so fun. Okay, we have to do this again. Renan is encouraged by like good feedback. Basically, run this up if you want him to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have to beg him. Because if this doesn't do it, he's gonna be like, Iman, your podcast is lame. I'm not coming back. So guys, don't embarrass me. No, literally don't embarrass me. But this is basically it. Like I said, we'll probably have LV another time, hopefully. As usual, please comment on the podcast. If you listen on Spotify, you can actually comment in app and write whatever it is, whatever contributions. If you want to answer some of the questions that we've been throwing back and forth, put your opinions, whatever that is, in the comments. Please rate this podcast 5 stars. 4 stars is acceptable because, we're not perfect. We're growing. But if it's less than that, you're a hater. Keep it to yourself. You can find me at I am Tony Iman on Instagram. It's also written in the bio. I like talking to strangers. It's not that bad. Where can they find you?
You can find me, Renegade366 on Instagram, as well as hashtag Renegade music.
Yeah.
I should be starting some content coming soon. Yes. Some more music coming soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a producer tag for real. So if you don't embarrass me, he's gonna think I have some street cred and let me do it. Thank you guys so much for listening and for rocking with me. While I'm trying to figure out my new schedule for the podcast, y'all pray for me. But yeah, follow for all the updates, and I'll talk to you guys later.